If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Myles Garrett's frustration was palpable after Sunday's clash between the Cleveland Browns and the San Francisco 49ers. A game that ended in a 26-8 defeat for the home team at Huntington Bank Field. From the opening kickoff, it was clear that the Browns' defensive front, usually known for its ferocity and ability to disrupt opposing quarterbacks, was struggling to impose its will on a 49ers offense that executed with precision and poise. The story of the game quickly became Brock Purdy's masterful pocket presence, as he maneuvered through Cleveland's defensive rushes with a calmness and efficiency that left fans and analysts alike marveling at his command of the field. Purdy completed 16 passes for 168 yards and found the end zone once, but those statistics only tell part of the story, because his ability to read pressure, evade sacks, and make accurate throws under duress highlighted a level of quarterback intelligence that Cleveland simply couldn't counter effectively on Sunday. Garrett, widely recognized as the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year and one of the most dominant defensive ends in the NFL, was visibly irritated when discussing how difficult it was to get to Purdy. There seemed to be a lot of ops with how close it was. But Purdy likes getting out on time or he sees me, Garrett admitted, his jaw clenched. A clear indicator of his internal frustration at the inability to consistently impact the quarterback despite multiple opportunities to do so. Throughout the game, Garrett did manage to breach the backfield on a few occasions, delivering a signature bone-crushing hit that made the crowd flinch and even caused a brief collective gasp from 49ers fans. Yet Purdy shrugged off the blow and continued orchestrating his team's offensive rhythm, demonstrating composure under pressure that made Garrett's efforts feel, at least in part, inconsequential. The Browns' defensive woes were not limited to Garrett alone. While he finished the game with a single sack and 3 quarterback hits, the rest of the defensive line struggled to make an impact. Only for other defenders were able to reach the backfield with meaningful pressure. Rookies Carson Schweizinger and Mason Graham, along with veterans Cameron Thomas and Malik Collins. Even with these efforts, the 49ers offensive line maintained a level of control that neutralized much of the disruption Cleveland aimed to create when the 49ers opted to run the ball. The Browns were again caught in a balancing act, unable to fully anticipate the dual threats of Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson Jr. McCaffrey accumulated 53 yards and a touchdown, while Robinson added 26 yards on the ground, modest numbers on paper. Yet they were sufficient to consistently sustain offensive drives and prevent the Browns from regaining any defensive momentum. Cleveland's defensive unit recorded just 4 tackles for loss on the day, with Garrett responsible for one of those on his lone sack of Purdy. Schweizinger and defensive tackle Shelby Harris were the only other players to register a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, further emphasizing how the Browns struggled to penetrate the 49ers front and disrupt the flow of the game. Garrett's frustration is understandable, given his season-long dominance. At 29 years old, he is currently leading the NFL in sacks with 19, just 3.5 shy of the all-time record for a single season, and is firmly in the conversation for the 2025 Defensive Player of the Year award. His performance this season has been nothing short of spectacular, consistently pressuring quarterbacks, breaking through double teams, and showcasing the type of athleticism and strategic awareness that has made him one of the league's most feared defenders. Schweizinger, too, has emerged as a defensive standout for the Browns this year. The rookie defensive end has made an immediate impact, displaying a combination of quickness, strength, and football IQ that has put him in contention for NFL Rookie Defensive Player of the Year honors. While some have speculated that New York Giants defensive end Abdul Carter might provide late-season competition for the award, Schweizinger's consistency and ability to contribute both in pass rush and run defense make him a leading candidate. The performance on Sunday against the 49ers, however, highlighted that even the most promising players can face games where the opponent's execution simply outmatches their efforts, creating moments of frustration that can fuel future growth and development. Despite the setback, there are reasons for optimism as the Browns prepare to face the Tennessee Titans next week. The Titans have struggled at various points this season, and Cleveland's defensive line, once fully refocused and motivated, has the tools and talent to regain its edge. For Garrett, this represents an opportunity not just to continue his pursuit of sack records, but also to reassert the dominance that has defined his career for Schlesinger and Graham. It is a chance to show that Sunday's struggles were an anomaly, and that they can consistently affect the quarterback and make life difficult for opposing offenses. The Browns' defensive unit has demonstrated resilience over the course of the season, and one poor outing does not erase the progress and achievements they have collectively made. Sunday's game also underscored the importance of timing, strategy, and execution in the NFL. While the Browns were aggressive and put pressure on Purdy when possible, the 49ers' offensive scheme was patient, methodical, and highly effective. Purdy's ability to make quick, accurate decisions under pressure allowed the 49ers to sustain drives and convert critical third downs, frustrating the Browns and leaving the stadium echoing with questions about missed opportunities and untapped potential on defense. It is a reminder that even elite defenders like Garrett, capable of extraordinary athletic feats, are part of a larger chess match where success depends not only on individual skill but also on coordination, situational awareness, and timing. Looking ahead to the December 7th matchup against the Titans at Huntington Bank Field, the Browns will be aiming to recalibrate and reclaim their defensive identity. The game presents an opportunity for Garrett to continue his pursuit of history while also helping to mentor and guide younger teammates, ensuring that players like Schlesinger and Graham can reach their full potential. The team's preparation, adjustments in technique, and renewed focus on execution will be critical as the Browns look to capitalize on a favorable matchup and return to the win column. Fans will be watching closely to see if Garrett's frustration can be channeled into a performance that reminds the NFL why he is regarded as one of the league's most dominant defensive forces and why the Browns' defense remains a unit to be reckoned with. Despite Sunday's struggles, as the countdown to the Titans game continues, the narrative surrounding Garrett, Schlesinger, and the entire defensive unit is clear. Resilience, adaptation, and execution under pressure will define the remainder of the season. The Browns' front seven has proven capable of great disruption, and while Sunday highlighted vulnerabilities, it also highlighted areas for growth, opportunity for leadership, and the potential for redemption. Fans can expect a team motivated to prove itself, a defense ready to return to form, and a chance for Garrett to continue adding to a historic season that could see records fall. An award secured. Cleveland's defense, when firing on all cylinders, is one of the most dangerous in football, and the upcoming matchup is a prime opportunity for the Browns to demonstrate that their elite performances are far from over, and that Sunday's struggles were simply a temporary setback in a season that has already showcased the dominance, skill, and determination of one of the NFL's most compelling defensive narratives. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Hold on to your seats, because the NFL world is buzzing right now, and it all centers around none other than SHEDEUR Sanders. Yes, you heard that right. The rising star linebacker, who's been turning heads all season, has apparently just dropped something on social media that's sending shockwaves across the league. The rumor mill is spinning like crazy, and fans, analysts, and even players are talking about it nonstop. What Sanders allegedly said after the clash against the 49ers is creating a storm of speculation, conspiracy theories, and downright panic among NFL enthusiasts. People are calling it bold, some are calling it reckless, but one thing is certain: the league may never be the same. There are whispers that his comments weren't just casual post-game reflections. No, insiders say they were pointed, critical, and perhaps even explosive. Sources claim that Sanders hinted at internal conflicts, management decisions, and strategies that might not sit well with the team's image or the NFL's carefully curated public persona. And let's be honest, when a player of his caliber speaks, the world listens. The narrative going around is that Sanders exposed tensions that have been simmering behind the scenes for months. Fans are dissecting every word he supposedly said, replaying snippets of his interviews, and cross-referencing them with team behaviors that have seemed odd or inconsistent this season. There's talk that his statements were leaked, not necessarily by him directly, but perhaps by someone close to the team environment. Imagine the scene: a locker room buzzing with post-game adrenaline, a young superstar venting truths that others wouldn't dare utter, and suddenly the whole internet lights up. Social media exploded within minutes, with hashtags trending across platforms and sports forums flooded with speculation. The key question on everyone's mind is, did Sanders just pull back the curtain on something? the league doesn't want you to see, and the more you dig, the murkier it seems. People are talking about issues ranging from questionable coaching calls to what he implied might be an undercurrent of favoritism or organizational politics. Analysts have been weighing in, and even without full confirmation of the exact quotes, the buzz is palpable. Some say he might have been talking about player safety decisions, while others argue that it's about contracts, trades, or even the way team management interacts with players during high-pressure moments. And let's not forget, the 49ers game itself was intense. The way Sanders performed on the field adds weight to his off-the-cuff remarks. When a player steps up and delivers like he did, fans naturally lend more credibility to his words. Every tackle, every strategic read, every on-field leadership moment is suddenly tied back to these comments, amplifying the impact. The leak, and I use that word lightly because no one's officially confirming it, has created endless speculation threads online. People are replaying his press conferences, looking for tone, inflection, and even body language cues that might hint at what he really meant. And here's the kicker. Some insiders claim there's already internal damage control happening. Team officials and league representatives are supposedly reaching out to clarify, calm, or even contain the narrative. But let's face it, once something hits social media in today's hyper-connected world, containment is almost impossible. Fans are breaking down the timeline of events post-game, correlating Sanders' alleged statements with past controversies, and drawing lines that could suggest much bigger stories. The rumor is that he didn't just talk about one issue, he touched on several, perhaps inadvertently revealing cracks in the organization that the NFL would prefer remain behind closed doors. Speculation is running wild about whether this could affect team dynamics, upcoming games, or even trades. Some voices online are already suggesting that if Sanders' comments are more than just hyperbole, we could see a ripple effect throughout the league. Coaches are reportedly concerned, players are whispering, and social media personalities are having a field day dissecting every syllable. There's even chatter that rival teams might use this to their advantage. Reading between the lines to understand not just Sanders' mindset, but perhaps vulnerabilities within his team. It's fascinating to watch because sports rumors are nothing new. But when they involve a player like SHEDEUR Sanders, someone who is both immensely talented and outspoken, the stakes are higher. People are theorizing that Sanders could be positioning himself for a bigger conversation about leadership, or maybe he's expressing frustration that's been building behind the scenes. Either way, the result is the same. Everyone is talking, tweeting, posting, and debating. Memes have already started circulating. Video clips are being edited and replayed. And the narrative is growing faster than most breaking news stories. And the best or worst part, no one is completely sure what was said. All we have are leaks, snippets, and interpretations, which makes the rumor mill even more ferocious. Some people are convinced Sanders is hinting at broader league issues, while others think it's strictly an internal team matter. Then there's the faction of fans who believe this is classic media hype, a story blown out of proportion to sell clicks and views. But given the rapid spread and the intensity of discussion, it's clear that whether exaggeration or fact, the impact is undeniable. Even former players are chiming in, weighing in on what they would have done, how they interpret his words, and what this means for team cohesion and the broader NFL ecosystem. And as these discussions unfold, the narrative evolves. Every new post, every follow-up interview, every cryptic tweet adds layers to the story. Analysts are predicting potential fallout, including fines, suspensions, or even shifts in team strategy, though none of that is confirmed. Meanwhile, fans continue to speculate, forming alliances, debating interpretations, and passionately defending or criticizing Sanders' actions. It's the kind of buzz that transcends a single game, a single season, or even a single player. It becomes a cultural talking point, a moment that fans remember long after the scoreboards are cleared. And while no official statement from the NFL has fully clarified the situation, the chatter online is relentless. Some insiders hint that league officials are monitoring social media trends to gauge public reaction, perhaps preparing a formal response, while others speculate that the story may quietly fizzle if Sanders keeps a low profile in the coming weeks. But judging by the current intensity, it doesn't look like that will happen anytime soon. The fascinating part of this whole unfolding saga is how it illustrates the power a single voice can have in the age of instant communication. A young player, full of talent and personality, seemingly sharing his perspective or frustrations. And suddenly the world is watching. Analyzing and debating every gesture, every word, every nuance is scrutinized. And before you know it, you have millions of people invested in a story that began in the locker room, and that, perhaps, is what makes it so intoxicating for fans, the sense that we're witnessing an authentic, unscripted moment in sports culture. There's a rawness to it, an element of unpredictability, and a genuine curiosity about what happens next. Will the league respond? Will the team react internally? Will Sanders double down, clarify, or stay silent? Every possible scenario is being discussed in sports forums, on live streams, and across Twitter feeds. The rumor continues to grow because, frankly, that's what the sports world thrives on: intrigue, drama, and the personalities behind the game. And with SHEDEUR Sanders at the center of this whirlwind, it's only natural that speculation is reaching fever pitch. Every post, every retweet, every comment adds fuel to the fire as fans dissect the implications. Some are focusing on Sanders' career trajectory, wondering if this could signal a turning point in his public persona, or how he's perceived within the league. Others are zooming in on the potential effects for the team's dynamics, questioning whether locker room morale or strategy might shift in response to these revelations. And even broader discussions are emerging about transparency, player power, and the balance between individual voices and organizational control in professional sports. It's a lot to unpack, and honestly, it's exactly the kind of buzz that keeps NFL conversations alive long after the game ends. Rumor, speculation, and commentary are blending together, creating a narrative that's part news, part entertainment, and wholly magnetic. At the heart of it is the figure of SHEDEUR Sanders, who, intentionally or not, has thrust himself into the spotlight in a way that few young players ever experience. The magnitude of this moment is reflected in the sheer volume of reactions, thousands of posts, countless comment threads, and endless debates about what he actually meant. And while some may argue it's overblown, the intensity cannot be ignored. The unfolding story is a masterclass in modern sports culture: how rumors spread, how personalities shape perceptions, and how a single statement, leaked or public, can ripple across an entire league, influencing fans, analysts, and insiders alike. So here we are, watching history in real time, as one of the NFL's most exciting talents inadvertently or deliberately shakes the foundations of his sport. The story is far from over, the speculation is far from settled, and the impact is still unraveling. Whether Sanders' words lead to internal changes, media backlash, or simply a viral moment that lives on in highlight reels and internet lore, one thing is crystal clear: the NFL world has been exposed to something raw, unfiltered, and utterly fascinating, and no one is turning away from the screen anytime soon. Every fan, every commentator, and every insider is waiting for the next move, the next revelation, the next confirmation or denial that will shape how this chapter of NFL history is remembered. And until that happens, the whispers, the posts, and the rumors will continue to grow, feeding a story that is as captivating as it is unpredictable, leaving the entire league and its audience holding their breath, wondering what comes next from SHEDEUR Sanders, the player who just may have changed the conversation forever. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!